Hello humans, it's just Martine and it's time to talk through my October reading stats. October was an interesting reading month. If you have not been keeping up with me in the month of October, first of all, what are you doing? And second of all, you can watch it all go down right here because I only read Dollar Tree books this month with like a handful of exceptions. And that messed up my reading. I had a fun reading month, like I had a good time, but you'll see that my stats look a little different than they normally do, which on the one hand is interesting. You know, some of these videos can get repetitive, but on the other, I did have my lowest reading month of the year. According to my spreadsheet, I read 21 books for a total of 6,939 pages, which isn't a bad reading month. It's just not what I've been normally pulling this year. We can really see that in the time that I've spent reading because according to Bookly, I spent 76 hours reading, which is almost 50 hours less than the month before. That's a huge difference. Some other monthly stats. My average pages per day was 231.3 and my average page count per book was 330.43. My top genre was contemporary. I read 12 books with representation and read only a singular book from an author that I had read from before. So I don't know about you, but I feel like we should get into some graphs. Let's start with genre. Contemporary is my biggest slice of this pie, representing 35%. I pick up a lot of contemporary from Dollar Tree, and I think we can see this reflected really well here. Contemporary is one of my favorite genres, but I haven't been reading as much of it as I thought this year. I view it as one of my favorite genres, and yet across the year, since this is the first year that I've really tracked my reading in this way, I noticed that I really don't read it as much as I think that I do. In this month, yeah, it pulled through. Everything else seems pretty equal. We had some nonfiction, some sci-fi, some poetry, some historical fiction, a classic, some mysteries, some thrillers, some romance, some fantasy, just a little bit of everything, but contemporary definitely swooped in and took this month by storm. Moving on to book size, we have a pretty interesting spread here. 28.6% of them were small books, but 66.7% of them were medium books, and we had a singular large book. I have to say I'm pretty happy with this because I was worried going into this month. I knew that a lot of my Dollar Tree books were on the shorter side, so I'm pleased that medium books still won out in the end. And if you're wondering where that's leaving me with my yearly goal to have small books under 50%, I'm doing quite well on that. It's sitting at 44.2% as of today. For star ratings, this is where things start to get a bit interesting in my opinion. We just have so many 3.5 stars. And so I think what I learned from this month is that Dollar Tree books really rep the 3.5 stars region. More than half of this graph, 52.4%, was 3.5 stars. The good news is that 3.5 is like a good rating. It's a sign that a book was a fun time. And only 2 books got a rating lower than 3.5 stars. So actually, my ratings were stellar overall. Like 4 stars, I didn't have as many of. I didn't have as many 5 stars as I usually do, but I just had so few books that were less than 3.5 stars, which I'm pretty happy about. For series versus standalone, my graph looks almost exactly the same as it does every other month, where one portion is about 23.8% and the other portion is 76.2%. However, if you look at this closely, you'll notice that it's actually the opposite of my usual series versus standalone graphs, wherein the larger portion represents the standalones that I read and the smaller portion represents series. I read a lot of standalone books from the Dollar Tree. That also goes in hand with reading a lot of contemporary from the Dollar Tree. You know, not many like contemporary lit fic series. That's not what the genre is known for exactly. So we just read a whole heck ton of standalones. For age range, I would say this looks pretty normal for me. 9.5% children's books, 28.6% YA books, and the rest adult. Again, I'm largely picking up adult contemporary books from the Dollar Tree, so this makes total sense. For author gender, the women are representing in the Dollar Tree picks with 61.9%. We had a couple unspecified authors, at least one book with multiple authors, and then a couple by men, but overall, the women really brought it this month. These next 3 graphs, I think, are the really exciting part that showed just how well I succeeded at my goal of sticking to Dollar Tree books this month. So first we have the format. So I have 3 format options: audiobook, ebook, physical book. We can see that physical won out by a lot this month, representing 81%. So this shows that 17 of my 21 reads in the month of October were physical books, which means they were Dollar Tree books. So 17 Dollar Tree books in 1 month is not shabby. I also finished 2 ebooks and 2 audiobooks. Both of those represent some of my exception categories, so I entirely stuck to my rules for Chaostober, and I'm super proud of myself for that, even if it meant that I read for 50 less hours than the month before. For publication date, you can see that it's 95.2% backlist. Dollar Tree doesn't show up with them new releases, you know how it is, and then I did have 1 new release because it was one of my exception books. It was a book club book. Other than that, it was strictly backlist. And usually my backlist category is quite large, but you know, this is something else. It would have been super satisfying if it had been entirely backlist, but that's okay. And finally, how did I acquire these books? 81% owned books, huzzah, and 19% library books. If you have been keeping up with my monthly wrap-up stats this year, then you would know that usually library represents at minimum 50% of the graph, but usually much closer to, say, 75%. Library sitting at only 19% is crazy, but I'm super proud of myself for that. Overall, even though it wasn't maybe my most successful reading month in terms of some stats like pages read or books read, it was successful in lots of other ways, so definitely a month where I smashed through some own books and made space on my shelves, which I really love. I read some good books. Again, only 2 got anything lower than a 3.5 stars, and I still managed to keep other things that matter to me on top, like reading majority written by women and also majority medium to large books. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below how was your reading month in the month of October, and subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!